But then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be talking about Leroy Sané. Arsenal are now intensifying their interest in the German winger. It looks like Mikel Arteta has always wanted the place played. He's worked with him at Manchester City, and a reunion is not very impossible. We'll talk about Yuri Tielemans. According to David Onstein, Arsenal are still interested in Yuri Tielemans. They're working on a few departures in that midfield, and if a couple of players can get out of the door, Yuri Tielemans is a definite signing for Arsenal this summer. Alexander Zinchenko, here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Deal completed between Manchester City and Arsenal. Deal completed between Arsenal and Alexander Zinchenko's party as well. Medicals upcoming and contracts are now being prepared. Mikel Arteta has said the captaincy at Arsenal Football Club is going to be decided very imminently. Martin Odegaard has the qualities, but they're gonna be deciding on who is the next leader in that dressing room. We'll talk about Ben White and Bona Sosa as well in this part of the episode. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We're very close to 55,000 subscribers. Let's get this video to 800 likes. For now, enjoy the video. Now let's start off with Alexander Zinchenko and Fabrizio Romano. Very interesting updates in the last few hours on Alexander Zinchenko. From Fabrizio Romano, Alexander Zinchenko to Arsenal. Here we go. Full total agreement in place since Friday with Manchester City. £30 million guaranteed. Personal terms also now guaranteed. Zinchenko always been keen on rejoining with Mikel Arteta. Contract until June 2026 as per David Onstein, and the medical is going to be done this week as well. That is according to Fabrizio Romano's initial tweet on Alexander Zinchenko and what Arsenal are doing. Now, also in the last 1 hour, Fabrizio Romano again confirming that Arsenal are already preparing official contracts, and they have scheduled medical tests for Alexander Zinchenko. Deal in place for 30 million with Manchester City. Player accepted as he's happy to work with Mikel Arteta once again. Manchester City are prepared to push for Marco Cucurella on the coming days as their new priority now at left back. That is also confirmed. And also in the last few minutes following Zinchenko deal completed with Arsenal, Manchester City have now set to submit an official bid, ready for talks with Marco Cucurella. He's always been Guardiola's top target as a new left back. Bid to be submitted very soon in order to negotiate the deal. So that is according to Fabrizio Romano. The kind of ripple effect here and there affecting one move affecting the other, but here at least what we know is that Marco Cucurella's move to Manchester City has been absolutely key in letting Alexander Zinchenko leave to join Arsenal Football Club. Now everything is agreed, everything is in place, like I reported yesterday. Official contracts have been prepared by Arsenal, and we're just waiting for that full full body in a full Arsenal kit. Now what I know is according to Charles Watts, Arsenal want Alexander Zinchenko to be part of their USA tour as soon as possible. We do not know at the moment whether we are going to have him do the medicals in the USA or he's going to fly back to London. A couple of sources, actually BBC, are saying that Alexander Zinchenko will fly back to London to complete his move to Arsenal from the US. Now, for me, that really doesn't make any sense. But Charles Watt says Arsenal want the player to be part of their USA tour. He might just cross over from the City camp to the Arsenal camp in Orlando City. That is around 2.5 hours. A flight for around 2.5 hours. And I think, in my opinion, that is what should happen. That is what we should do. We shouldn't actually let him fly to London, do his medicals here and complete his contract, and then fly back to the US. Everything should be done in the US. The official announcement could as well be done even without the player around. And then when the team finishes our US obligations, that is against Orlando City and Chelsea, we fly back at the Emirates Stadium where we'll be playing Sevilla. We can unveil him then. But anyway, the important parts of the deal have been done and dusted. Contracts now prepared. Officially, the player is an Arsenal player. He is an Arsenal man. Keen on rejoining with Mikel Arteta. A couple of sources actually saying that Alexander Zinchenko never wanted to leave Manchester City, and he had turned down a couple of opportunities to leave the club prior to Arsenal coming in for him. But when Mikel Arteta talked to him, when Mikel Arteta assured him and reassured him that he's the man that he's looking for, then Alexander Zinchenko decided that the right move this summer was to join Arsenal Football Club. Now, also moving on to what I would call a positive attitude, positive update from David Ornstein. It is on Yuri Tielemans. David Ornstein has said that Yuri Tielemans to Arsenal has never been off. The player is not even thinking about signing a new contract at Leicester City. He understands that the Mikel Arteta loves him and appreciates him. However, this is a deal that is going to take some time because Arsenal are working on a few departures. And I think, look, on one end, I understand what Arsenal are trying to do here. They're trying to sign players in areas where you do not need to offload anyone. For example, Alexander Zinchenko, you don't need to offload a left back to sign Alexander Zinchenko in that area. Nuno Tavares, I don't think he's a massive threat. He can be around the team with Alexander Zinchenko and Kieran Tierney both ahead of him. And then when you think about Gabriel Jesus, again, that is a deal where you feel Arsenal needed to sign him. At the moment Alexander Lacazette left the club, then we had to bring in a striker. Fabio Vieira, it looks like Arsenal always wanted a number 10, wanted a backup number 10, according to the Athletic, and it eventually happened. Someone to back up and work with Martin Odegaard. So with Yuri Tielemans now, that you have Alexander Zinchenko, Xhaka, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Albert Sambi-Lokonga, many players in the position, it is going to be very key who gets out of the team, who actually leaves the team, and then we can bring in Yuri Tielemans. Now, that doesn't mean that Arsenal will not sign Yuri Tielemans, because no one is on the verge of signing for another club. What I understand from this is that Yuri Tielemans will come in at Arsenal sooner or later. For me, Xhaka might leave the club. I won't be very surprised if Xhaka leaves. I'm not going to be surprised if Ainsley Maitland-Niles leaves, and I won't be surprised if even a player like Albert Sambi-Lokonga leaves Arsenal club on a loan deal. I won't be very, very surprised. I think someone will have to make way in that central midfield, and I'm very, very positive. It might be Xhaka, it might be Ainsley Maitland-Niles, it might be Lucas Torreira. It is always going to be someone. I think it's going to be even more than one departure. It will be Ainsley, Lucas Torreira. Guendouzi has now left the club. And I won't be very surprised if Xhaka leaves as well. There is some interest in Germany. There is some interest in Italy. So don't be shocked and don't be very surprised if Xhaka leaves. So Yuri Tielemans, the deal is on. Arsenal working on departures before they can activate that one. Okay. I'm now very, very calm. Although we have a deadline we are working with, Leicester City do not want us to drag the deal throughout the summer. They've said you should be working on this one within a week. And I think that is kind of a scare. It might be an ultimatum as well. It can be a deadline, but it can also be some kind of scare. So I'm not really very, very scared with the ultimatum. Now, Mikel Arteta has been speaking around the captaincy at Arsenal Football Club, and he's been speaking on the next captain and what he's actually thinking and what he actually has in mind about the next captain. This is what he said. The captaincy is going to be decided pretty very soon. I wanted to see how everybody is integrating the new boys that come from preseason. The next few weeks it will be decided and explained. Martin Odegaard has a lot of qualities we want as a captain. And he says on Arteta on Odegaard's leadership qualities, he was always listening and he was always helping his teammates. His attitude was absolutely phenomenal. That made me think that this guy is putting the team in front of himself, and the captain has to do that always. He also says that he thinks about the team before himself. He had the period at the start where he wasn't playing. He was the first in training, the last to leave, asking the right questions, why he wasn't playing, what he had to do, and also more on the captaincy. He says for a captain, you have to be really consequent with what you say. For me, that's the most important quality. You have to be able to transmit your thoughts and ideas in a powerful way. You have to be able to inspire and get people behind you. If you want to do that, if you don't have that, then you cannot be captain. Right. So then he also says, for me, the most important thing is that the other people, whether it's the coaches, staff members, or players, when you talk, they listen to you. You don't have to be talking all the time. That is according to Mikel Arteta on Odegaard and the qualities of a good captain. One thing I would agree with him there is about the qualities. You need to be. I mean, there is that kind of charisma that leaders have. I don't know whether Martin Odegaard has it, but you have to be able to command. You have to be able to speak and people listen. You have to be able to appeal to them. You have to be able to convince them, and you have to be able to raise their spirits. They must believe in you, and that's why it's so important that in most cases a leader is a senior, a leader is an experienced player, because you naturally, they will listen to you. You've got the experience. You can command them. And when you speak to the staff, when you speak to the coaches, when you speak to the players, they will be able to listen to you, and they will be able to back you. But then also, I think what Martin Odegaard has, he's got that ability to lead by example. And Mikel has spoken about it, putting the team before yourself. You always have to value the team, the decisions taken in favor of the team, and not being utterly and solely selfish. And Mikel says at the beginning of the season, when Martin wasn't playing, he was asking the right questions. Why am I not playing? And how can I play? And how can I, help the team? I think that is the spirit you want in your captain. That is the spirit that Martin Odegaard possesses. And it will be very, very interesting to see whether Mikel Arteta crowns him captain. And I want to see if he crowns Martin Odegaard captain, who is going to be the vice captain. That is also very, very important, because I don't want to see Odegaard as captain and then Nuno Tavares as vice captain. It won't make any sense. So it's either Odegaard is captain and someone like Alexander Zinchenko, Kieran Tierney comes in as vice captain. With all that experience, with all that leadership, I won't be very surprised if Alexander Zinchenko is part of Arsenal's leadership hierarchy. Although he's signing for the club, is just signing for the club, but I won't be very surprised if he's part of that leadership hierarchy. So Mikel says Odegaard has the qualities. Let's wait and see. Much more of the talk on Leroy Sané, Ben White, and Bona Sosa coming up in my next update, in my next podcast. So make sure you don't miss it as well.